conversation in your head. Let's begin with the first point, the power of self-talk in shaping your reality. Have you ever stopped to notice how the way you talk to yourself shapes your entire reality? Think about it when you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never make it." How does your day unfold? Probably with more frustration, self-doubt, and missed opportunities. But when you say, "I can handle this," or "I'm learning and growing," everything starts to feel different. That's not a coincidence. Your self-talk is the foundation of your mindset, and your mindset influences every aspect of your life, from the way you handle challenges to the way you seize opportunities. Imagine two people facing the exact same setback, let's say a rejected job application. One person thinks, "I knew this would happen. I am just not cut out for this." The other person says, "This is disappointing, but it's not the end. I'll refine my approach and keep trying." The first person might give up entirely, while the second person uses the setback as fuel to improve what changed. Not the situation, but the internal dialogue. One mindset leads to stagnation, the other to resilience and growth. This principle isn't new. The Stoics, who mastered the art of mental discipline, understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The Stoics taught that while we can't control external events, we can control our internal responses. And self-talk, that's your internal response to every moment you encounter. So how do you use this power to shape a better reality for yourself? Start by becoming aware of your self-talk. Pay attention to the words running through your mind. Are they building you up or tearing you down? When you catch yourself being overly critical, pause and reframe. For example, instead of saying, "I can't handle this, try, this is challenging, but I'm capable." It might feel forced at first, but over time it becomes second nature. Affirmations are another effective tool. Choose a few positive statements that resonate with you. "I am strong, I am worthy, I am capable of growth." Repeat them daily, morning, night, or whenever. Self-doubt creeps in. Repetition strengthens these beliefs, and soon enough they become your default mindset. Visualization also plays a huge role. Close your eyes and see yourself succeeding. Whether it's nailing a presentation, reaching a personal goal, or simply being at peace, your brain starts to believe what it repeatedly envisions, and your actions align with that belief. But here's something we often overlook: self-compassion. Think about how you'd encourage a close friend going through a tough time. You wouldn't call them a failure for making a mistake, right? So why do it to yourself? Treat yourself with the same kindness when you stumble. Remind yourself that setbacks are part of the journey, not a reflection of your worth. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you care about deeply. When you do, your mind becomes a place of support, not sabotage. Your reality shifts, not because the world changes, but because you do too. Your thoughts create biochemical reactions in your body. Have you ever felt physically drained after a stressful day, even if you didn't do much physically, or felt energized simply because you were excited about something? That's not coincidence. It's chemistry. Every thought you have triggers a biochemical reaction in your body. This means your mindset isn't just influencing your mood, it's impacting your physical health and energy levels in real time. Let's break this down. When you have negative thoughts like, "I'll never get through this," your brain releases stress hormones such as cortisol. This hormone prepares your body for a perceived threat, increasing your heart rate and tensing your muscles. In the short term, it's useful for emergencies, but when negativity becomes a habit, your body stays in this stress state for too long, leading to fatigue, anxiety, and even illness. On the flip side, positive thoughts like "I can handle this" release feel-good chemicals such as dopamine and serotonin, which boost your mood, improve focus, and increase your overall energy. Picture this: Sarah, a young entrepreneur, faces a crucial business pitch. She spends days thinking, "I'm going to mess this up." By the time the pitch arrives, her body is already worn out from days of stress. Her mind is foggy and her confidence is shattered. Now imagine if Sarah had approached the same situation with, "I'm prepared, I can do this." Her body would have responded with calmness and clarity, giving her the best chance to succeed. The situation didn't change, her thoughts did, and so did her body's response. Stoicism, with its emphasis on inner discipline, aligns perfectly with this concept Epictetus taught. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reactions start with your thoughts, and those thoughts have a direct line to your body's chemistry. The Stoics believed that mastering your mind was key to mastering your life, and science now proves they were right. So how can you harness this connection for your benefit? First, start each morning with intentional self-talk before the day's stress kicks in. Take a moment to affirm your strength. Today, I will handle whatever comes my way with calm and clarity. This sets a positive biochemical tone for your entire day. Second, practice mindfulness throughout the day. When negative thoughts arise, don't ignore them, acknowledge them, but then consciously shift your focus. Replace "this is too much" with "one step at a time." "I've got this." It's like flipping a switch in your brain, changing the chemical flow from stress to calm. Another practical tip: end your day by reflecting on 3 things you did well. This simple practice floods your brain with positive chemicals, reinforcing a cycle of confidence and well-being. Your body listens to every word your mind speaks when you choose your thoughts carefully. You are not just improving your mindset, you are enhancing your health, energy, and quality of life. The power is in your hands, or rather in your mind. 3. Your brain can't tell the difference between real and imagined experiences. Did you know that your brain processes what you imagine? Almost the same way it processes reality. It's fascinating, but it also means that your self-talk and mental imagery have immense power. When you constantly visualize failure or doubt, your brain reacts as if those fears are real, reinforcing anxiety and hesitation. But when you imagine success, your brain starts to believe it's already happening, setting you up for actual achievement. Let's put this into perspective. Think of athletes before a big game. Many of them use visualization techniques, picturing themselves scoring the winning goal, crossing the finish line, or making the perfect play. This isn't just mental fluff, it's neuroscience at work. Their brains can't fully distinguish between the imagined success and the real thing, which boosts their confidence and sharpens their focus when the moment arrives. Now imagine applying this to your own life. Say you have a challenging presentation at work. If you spend the days leading up to it thinking, "I'll mess up, they'll see right through me," your brain is already preparing for failure. Your nerves spike, your voice shakes, and your mind goes blank. But if you take time each day to close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself speaking confidently, engaging your audience, and nailing every point, your brain registers that as a rehearsal. By the time you're actually present, it feels familiar, like you've already succeeded. Before you even start, this aligns perfectly with Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations emphasized the power of mental preparation. He would reflect each morning on potential challenges he might face, preparing his mind to respond with calm and clarity. While the Stoics didn't have modern neuroscience, their practices reflect what science confirms today. Your mind shapes your reality even before it happens. So how can you make this work for you? Start by creating a mental movie of your goals. Whatever you are working toward, be it personal, professional, or emotional, spend a few minutes each day vividly imagining yourself achieving it. See the details, feel the emotions, and immerse yourself in that success. Your brain will start to believe in that possibility, pushing you to take actions that align with that vision. When negative images pop up, don't panic. Acknowledge them, then consciously replace them. If you see yourself failing, pause and repaint that picture. See yourself overcoming obstacles instead. This isn't about ignoring reality, it's about training your brain to focus on solutions rather than fears. And remember, repetition is key. The more you visualize success, the stronger the neural connections become. It's like building a mental muscle. Consistent practice leads to strength. Your brain is more powerful than you realize. When you feed it positive imagery, it doesn't just change your thoughts, it changes your actions, your confidence, and ultimately your reality. 4. How your self-talk rewires your brain for success. Have you ever thought about how every word you say to yourself shapes, not just your mindset, but your brain itself? It's true. Your self-talk isn't just a fleeting thought. It's a signal that your brain uses to build or break neural connections. The more you repeat certain thoughts, the stronger those connections become, creating habits of thinking that can either empower you or hold you back. Positive self-talk rewires your brain to focus on solutions and possibilities, while negative self-talk traps you in cycles of fear and doubt. Think of your brain like a path in the woods. The path you walk on most often becomes clear, well-trodden, and easy to follow. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not smart enough," or "I'll never succeed," that path becomes your brain's default route. But if you start creating a new path with thoughts like, "I'm capable," or "I'll figure this out," it may feel difficult at first, like pushing through tall grass, but with repetition, that path becomes easier to walk, while the negative path grows over with time. Let's take an example from real life. Consider Jake, a young software developer struggling with imposter syndrome. Every time he faced a challenge at work, his internal dialogue screamed, "You are not good enough." Over time, that thought became automatic making. Even small tasks feel overwhelming, but when Jake started practicing intentional self-talk, reminding himself, "I've solved problems before, and I can do it again," his brain began to shift. What once felt impossible started to seem manageable. Not because the work changed, but because his mind did. The science behind this is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Stoic philosophy, though ancient, echoes this modern understanding. Epictetus taught, "We become what we repeatedly do." The Stoics believe that through constant practice we can reshape our inner world. Much like modern neuroscience tells us, we can rewire our brains. So how do you start rewiring your brain through self-talk? First, identify your negative thought patterns. Write them down. Awareness is the first step to change. Next, for every negative thought, create a positive counter-thought. If your mind says, "I'm going to fail," counter it with, "I'm prepared and I'll give my best effort." This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about training your brain to find solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Consistency is crucial. Make positive self-talk a daily habit. Set reminders on your phone. Place sticky notes on your mirror, or start your day with affirmations. Over time, your brain will default to empowering thoughts, even in challenging situations. Also, surround yourself with positivity. The content you consume, the people you interact with, all of it feeds your mind. Choose wisely. The Stoics believed in surrounding oneself with wisdom to cultivate virtue, and the same applies today for cultivating a positive mindset. Your self-talk is like a sculptor, shaping your brain with each thought. Choose words that build resilience, strength, and confidence. When you do, you're not just changing your mood, you are rewiring your brain for success. 5. The importance of changing your self-talk to break free from old patterns. Have you ever felt stuck in a cycle, repeating the same mistakes, falling into the same traps, and wondering why things never seem to change? The answer often lies in your self-talk. The stories you tell yourself daily become the patterns you live by. Negative self-talk keeps you locked in old habits, while changing that dialogue opens the door to new possibilities. Think about this. If you've spent years telling yourself, "I'm not disciplined," how likely are you to stick to new routines? Your mind clings to that narrative because it's familiar. But the moment you start saying, "I'm becoming more disciplined each day," you challenge that old pattern. At first it feels awkward, like wearing new shoes that haven't molded to your feet yet, but with time it becomes your new normal. Let's take Emma's story. Emma always believed she was terrible at managing money. Every time she tried to save, she'd think, what's the point? I'll mess it up anyway, and unsurprisingly, she did. Her self-talk reinforced her behavior. But when Emma decided to change her narrative, things shifted. She started telling herself, I'm learning to handle my finances wisely. This didn't erase her past mistakes, but it gave her the confidence to try again. Slowly, her habits changed, not because her circumstances magically improved, but because her mindset did. Stoicism offers timeless wisdom here. Seneca once said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. To start fresh, you must first end the old patterns, and that starts with your self-talk. The Stoics believed that personal growth required constant self-reflection and intentional action. Much like reshaping your self-talk requires daily effort. So how do you break free from old patterns through self-talk? First, recognize your mental loops. Pay attention to the phrases you repeat to yourself, especially in challenging moments. Write them down and ask yourself, is this thought helping me grow or holding me back? Awareness is the first step to change. Next, replace those old phrases with empowering ones. For instance, swap. I always fail at this with I'm learning from every attempt. It's not about blind positivity. It's about creating a mindset that supports growth rather than sabotage. Repetition is key. Your brain needs time to build new pathways. Practice your new self-talk daily, especially when old patterns try to resurface. It might feel forced initially, but with consistency it becomes second nature. Also celebrate small wins. Every time you catch yourself breaking an old pattern, acknowledge it. Positive reinforcement strengthens new behaviors. Lastly, embrace setbacks as part of the process. Changing self-talk doesn't mean you'll never slip back into old habits. The Stoics taught that failure is a teacher. Each setback is a chance to refine your self-talk and grow stronger. Your self-talk is the key to breaking free from the chains of old patterns. Change your dialogue and you change your path. 6. How self-talk influences your biology and energy. Have you ever noticed how a single thought can change the way your entire body feels? One moment you are calm, and the next a negative thought sends your heart racing, your muscles tensing, and your energy plummeting. That's because your self-talk doesn't just stay in your mind. It travels through your body, influencing everything from your energy levels to your physical health. The words you feed your mind shape the chemistry of your body. Here's how it works. When your self-talk is negative, I'm so exhausted, I can't handle this, or nothing ever goes right for me. Your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol over time. Elevated cortisol levels can lead to fatigue, weakened immunity, and even chronic conditions. But when your self-talk is positive, I've got this, I'm capable, or this is a challenge, but I'm ready. Your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which boost your mood, energy, and overall well-being. Let's consider an example. Alex, a college student, often felt drained despite getting enough sleep. His days were filled with self-criticism. I'm not smart enough for this. I'm going to fail and everyone else is better than me. His body responded to this mental stress by feeling constantly tired and tense. But when Alex started practicing positive self-talk, reminding himself daily, I am learning and improving, I'm doing my best and I'm proud of my efforts, he noticed a shift. His energy levels improved, not because his workload changed, but because his mind and in turn his body felt lighter. Stoicism reinforces this connection between mind and body. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction begins with your thoughts, and those thoughts ripple through your entire being. The Stoics understood that true strength comes from within, and modern science backs this up by showing how our thoughts directly influence our physical state. So how can you harness self-talk to boost your biology and energy? Start by being mindful of your internal dialogue throughout the day. Check in with yourself. Are your thoughts draining your energy or fueling it? When you catch yourself thinking negatively, pause and reframe. Instead of "I'm so tired," say "I have the energy, I need to get through this." This simple shift can change how your body responds. Incorporate positive affirmations into your daily routine. Phrases like "I am strong," "I am energized," and "I am capable" might feel strange at first, but repeat it often. They start to influence not just your mind, but your body's chemistry. Physical posture plays a role too. Notice how you carry yourself when your thoughts are negative. Slumped shoulders, shallow breathing, tense muscles. Now try adjusting your posture. Stand tall. Take deep breaths and relax your shoulders while repeating positive self-talk. This combination reinforces a state of calm and vitality. Another practical step is to use visualization. Close your eyes and picture yourself energized, confident, and in control. Your brain will start sending signals to your body to align with that image. And don't forget the Stoic practice of gratitude. At the end of each day, reflect on what went well. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, releasing positive chemicals that enhance your well-being. Your self-talk is a direct line to your body's energy and health. Speak to yourself with positivity and watch your energy levels soar, not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. 7. Reprogramming your neural pathways through intentional self-talk. Did you know that every thought you have is like a signal traveling through a network of pathways in your brain? These pathways are formed by repeated thoughts, habits, and experiences. The more you think a certain way, the stronger those pathways become. But here's the exciting part. Your brain isn't fixed. It's constantly changing and adapting. This means that by practicing intentional self-talk, you can literally reprogram your brain to support your success, confidence, and growth. Imagine your brain as a field of grass. If you walk the same path every day, that path becomes clear and easy to follow. But if you decide to create a new path, at first it's difficult. You are pushing through tall grass, but with time and repetition, the new path becomes clear and the old one fades. That's exactly how neural pathways work. Negative self-talk creates well-worn paths of doubt and fear, but positive self-talk builds new paths of resilience, optimism, and action. Take Mia's story. Mia struggled with public speaking every time she had to speak in front of a crowd. Her mind screamed, "You are going to mess up." And her brain, accustomed to this thought, triggered anxiety and self-doubt. But Mia decided to change her self-talk every morning. She repeated, "I am calm, confident, and clear when I speak." Before every presentation, she visualized herself speaking smoothly and confidently. At first it felt forced, but over time those positive thoughts created new neural pathways. Her brain began to associate speaking with calmness rather than panic. Mia didn't just become better at public speaking, she reprogrammed her brain to support her success. This idea aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that through consistent practice, we could train our minds to respond to life with wisdom and calm. Epictetus taught, "The soul is dyed by the color of its thoughts." In modern terms, our brains are shaped by the thoughts we feed them. So how do you start reprogramming your neural pathways? First, practice intentional self-talk daily. Choose positive affirmations that resonate with your goals. Repeat them consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Remember, you are building a new path, one step at a time. Second, challenge negative thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," stop and replace it with "I am learning and growing every day." This interruption helps weaken old pathways and strengthen new ones. Visualization is another powerful tool. Spend a few minutes each day imagining yourself succeeding. See the details, feel the emotions, and immerse yourself in that vision. Your brain will start building pathways to align with that image. Consistency is key. Just like physical exercise strengthens muscles, mental repetition strengthens neural connections. The more you practice positive self-talk, the more automatic it becomes. And here's a Stoic-inspired reminder: progress takes time. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Dare to change your self-talk even when it feels hard. Over time, you'll find that what once felt difficult becomes second nature. Your brain is your greatest tool. Reprogram it with intention, and you'll unlock potential you never thought possible. 8. The Science of Neuroplasticity and its impact on your life. Have you ever felt trapped by your habits, convinced that this is just how I am? What if I told you that your brain is capable of change constantly? Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, means that no matter how deeply ingrained a habit or thought pattern is, you can change it. And one of the most effective tools for that change is your self-talk. Neuroplasticity works like this. Every time you think a thought, you strengthen a neural connection. Repeated thoughts create well-worn pathways in your brain, making certain patterns feel automatic. But when you introduce new thoughts, especially through intentional self-talk, you start building new pathways. Over time, these new connections become stronger, while the old unhelpful ones weaken. Let's break it down with a real-world example. Consider Daniel, who struggled with self-doubt for years. His inner voice told him, "You'll never be successful." This thought became so automatic that even small challenges felt insurmountable. But when Daniel learned about neuroplasticity, he decided to change his self-talk. Every day, he told himself, "I am capable and I am improving every day." At first it felt unnatural, but he persisted. Slowly, his brain began to associate challenges with growth rather than failure. His confidence grew, his actions became bolder, and his life began to shift, not overnight, but through consistent mental training. The Stoics understood this concept long before neuroscience confirmed it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." They believed that by mastering our thoughts, we could master our lives. Neuroplasticity is simply the scientific explanation for this ancient wisdom. So how can you leverage neuroplasticity through self-talk? First, commit to consistency. Your brain needs repetition to form new connections. Choose positive affirmations aligned with your goals and repeat them daily. The more you repeat them, the stronger the neural connections become. Second, be patient. Changing your brain takes time, just like building muscle. Don't be discouraged if it feels slow. Every positive thought is a step forward, even if it doesn't feel like it right away. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role. Pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day. When you notice negative patterns, pause and reframe them. Each time you do this, you weaken old connections and strengthen new ones. Visualization is another powerful tool. Imagine yourself achieving your goals with vivid detail. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between real and imagined experiences, so this practice helps build neural connections that support your success. Finally, embrace setbacks as part of the process. Neuroplasticity isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Seneca reminds us difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Every challenge is an opportunity to reinforce new mental patterns. Your brain is adaptable, resilient, and capable of growth at any stage of life. Through intentional self-talk, you are not just changing your mindset, you are reshaping your brain, and with it your future. 9. Creating a new energetic signature through focused self-talk. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the energy shift, whether it was positive or negative? That's because every one of us carries an energetic signature, the vibe we project to the world. What many people don't realize is that your self-talk directly influences this energy. The way you speak to yourself not only shapes your mindset, but also the energy you bring into every interaction and situation. Think of your self-talk as the background music to your life. When it's filled with negative self-criticism like "I'm not good enough" or "things never work out for me," it's like playing a sad, melancholic tune on repeat. That energy affects how you approach your goals, how others perceive you, and what opportunities come your way. But when your self-talk is uplifting, "I am capable," "I am worthy," "I attract positive opportunities," you project confidence, resilience, and positivity, much like an upbeat, inspiring soundtrack that energizes you and those around you. Let's take Chris, for example. Chris always felt stuck in life. His internal dialogue was a constant loop of "why bother? Nothing ever works out for me." And guess what? His energy reflected that. People sensed his pessimism. Opportunities seemed to bypass him, and his own actions were half-hearted. But when Chris decided to change his self-talk, everything shifted. He started each day with affirmations like "I am open to new possibilities and I bring value to every situation." Gradually his energy changed. He became more approachable, more proactive, and suddenly doors began to open. Not because the world changed, but because he did. This concept ties closely to Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that our internal state shapes our external reality. Epictetus said men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. Your energetic signature is shaped by your internal views, your self-talk. So how do you create a new energetic signature through focused self-talk? Start by setting a clear intention. Each day when you wake up, choose the energy you want to carry with you. Say to yourself, "Today, I bring positivity, strength, and focus into everything I do." This sets the tone for your mind and energy from the start. Throughout the day, monitor your internal dialogue. When negative thoughts creep in, don't let them linger. Replace them with affirmations that align with the energy you want to project. For example, shift from "I'm overwhelmed" to "I'm calm and capable, handling one thing at a time." Visualization is a game changer here too. Spend a few moments each day imagining yourself walking through life with confidence and calm energy. Picture yourself handling challenges gracefully, inspiring others. With your presence and attracting positive experiences, your brain begins to believe and reinforce this energetic state. Also, surround yourself with positivity. The people you engage with, the content you consume, all of it contributes to your energetic signature. Choose influences that uplift you and reinforce your desired mindset. Finally, practice gratitude each evening. Reflect on moments when you felt aligned with your desired energy. Gratitude amplifies positive energy and helps maintain it. Your self-talk is the pulse of your energy. When you align your internal dialogue with positivity and confidence, you don't just feel different, you radiate differently, and that energy, it draws in opportunities, connections, and experiences that match it. 10. The 3-day challenge to change your self-talk and transform your life. Imagine what your life could look like if for just 3 days you spoke to yourself with nothing but kindness, encouragement, and belief. 3 days might seem short, but it's enough to feel the shift. It's enough to prove to yourself that the way you talk to yourself changes everything from your mood to your motivation, from your energy to your outcomes. This challenge isn't about perfection, it's about intention. For 3 days, you'll commit to conscious positive self-talk, and you'll witness firsthand how your inner dialogue can transform your reality. Here's why this challenge works. Your brain responds quickly to new patterns, even if they're temporary. Think of it like starting a new workout. After just a few sessions, you begin to feel stronger, more energized, and more capable. Your muscles remember the effort, and your body starts to adapt. Your brain works the same way. When you spend 3 days feeding it positive self-talk, it begins to adapt, building new neural connections that support a healthier mindset. Let's take Sarah's story. Sarah had always struggled with self-doubt, often telling herself, "I'm not smart enough," or "I'll never succeed." When she learned about the 3-day self-talk challenge, she was skeptical, but decided to give it a shot for 3 days. Every time a negative thought appeared, she consciously replaced it with a positive one. I am learning and growing. I have what it takes. I am enough. By the end of those 3 days, something surprising happened. Sarah felt lighter, more motivated, and even tackled tasks she had been avoiding. It wasn't magic, it was mindset. Those 3 days didn't solve all her problems, but they showed her that change was possible. And from there, she continued the practice, transforming not just her thoughts, but her life. The Stoics would embrace this challenge wholeheartedly. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to focus on what he could control: his mind. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The 3-day challenge is exactly that, taking control of your mind, even when external circumstances remain unchanged. So how do you take on this challenge for 3 days? Make a conscious effort to monitor your self-talk. Each time you catch yourself thinking negatively, pause and replace it with something positive. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. Swap, "I can't do this" with "I'll take it one step at a time." Replace, "I'm not good enough" with "I'm doing my best and that's enough." Start each morning with affirmations. Spend 5 minutes telling yourself, "I am capable. I am strong. I am ready for today" throughout the day. Stay aware when stress hits. Remind yourself, "I can handle this." When you make a mistake, say, "I'm learning and improving," and each night reflect on your progress. Write down one positive thing you told yourself that day and how it made you feel. You'll notice the changes quickly. Perhaps a boost in energy, a bit more confidence, or simply a sense of calm. Let's be real for a moment. Life can feel like a constant whirlwind between the never-ending work demands, social obligations, family commitments, and that never-fading stream of notifications. It can feel like your mind is always in overdrive. The days blur together, and no matter how much you do, that feeling of peace seems to stay just out of reach. It's like the weight of expectations, pressures, and distractions is constantly piling on. But what if peace isn't something you have to wait for, something that only comes once? Everything in your life is perfect. What if peace is something you can create right now, right in the middle of the chaos? Here's the truth. Peace starts from within. It's about clearing your mind, taking control of your thoughts, and choosing calm over the noise around you. The Stoics understood this long ago. They knew that while we can't control the world around us, we have the power to control how we respond. We can choose to let go of what doesn't serve us and focus on what truly matters. And when we do that, peace is no longer a distant dream. It becomes a way of life. Are you ready to start cultivating inner calm and reclaim your peace? Let's dive into 12 powerful ways to master inner calm and find the peace you've been searching for. These actionable steps will help you clear your mind, overcome distractions, and live more intentionally starting today. Let's get started. 1. Let go of the weight of expectations. Have you ever felt like you are constantly running to meet other people's expectations, only to find that no matter how hard you try, it's never enough? It's a feeling that many of us experience daily, whether it's your job, family, friends, or even society at large. There always seems to be a weight pressing down on you, telling you how to live, what to do, and who you should be. The problem is, this weight doesn't just slow you down. It robs you of your peace. Think about it. When was the last time you made a decision purely because it was what you wanted, not what others expected of you? We live in a world that constantly pushes us to be more, to do more, to achieve more, often based on the expectations of others. We chase after goals and aspirations that are not truly ours, but are instead shaped by external pressures. And all this striving, it leaves us exhausted and disconnected from what really matters. This constant need for external validation, the need to prove that we are worthy of success, love, or respect, steals our peace. We begin to live our lives for others, constantly measuring our worth against their expectations. We forget what it feels like to live authentically, to follow our own desires and needs. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations taught that we must learn to focus on what is within our control and let go of the rest. When we release the pressure of meeting others' expectations, we create space for peace. True peace begins the moment you stop seeking validation from others and start living for yourself according to your own values and goals. The key to finding peace is learning to let go of the weight of external expectations. This doesn't mean rejecting feedback or advice. It means recognizing when external pressures are no longer aligned with your true self. Letting go means giving yourself permission to follow your own path, even if it doesn't match society's idea of success. Take a moment to reflect how many of your daily choices are driven by the expectations of others. Are you living for yourself or are you living for others? It's time to release the weight of those expectations and take back control. Start by identifying areas of your life where you've been trying to please others and ask yourself, is this truly what I want? If the answer is no, it's time to let go. Letting go of external expectations is a liberating process. It's about reclaiming your right to choose your own path, to define success on your own terms, and to live a life that reflects your true self. Every time you let go of the pressure to meet someone else's standards, you move closer to inner peace. You start living authentically free from the weight of others' judgments and expectations. Remember, you don't need to seek permission from anyone to live your life. Your peace is waiting for you, but it starts with releasing the expectations that don't serve you. When you do, you'll discover a new sense of freedom and clarity that you never knew was possible. 2. Stop chasing what disturbs your peace. How often do you find yourself chasing after things that in the end only disturb your peace? Whether it's material possessions, the latest trends, or the validation of others, we are constantly bombarded with distractions that pull us away from what truly matters, and with each new chase, we lose a little more of ourselves. Think about the last time you were deeply at peace. Was it when you were accumulating things, checking off a long to-do list, or rushing to meet deadlines? Or was it when you were in a quiet moment, fully present, not concerned about the next thing to achieve or acquire? In a world where we are told to constantly strive for more, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that happiness is just one more step away. We think that if we just get the next promotion, buy that perfect home, or get a certain number of likes on social media, then we'll finally be happy. But here's the catch. Those things, no matter how nice they seem, are external. They can give us momentary pleasure, but they don't bring lasting peace. In fact, they often do the opposite. They disturb our inner calm by introducing more chaos, stress, and pressure into our lives. The Stoics knew this well. They taught that true happiness comes not from external achievements, but from inner peace. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The idea is that peace comes from simplicity, letting go of the unnecessary and focusing only on what truly serves us. So how do we stop chasing what disturbs our peace? The first step is to become aware of what those distractions are. Take a moment to reflect, what are the things in your life that cause you stress, anxiety, or dissatisfaction? Is it a constant desire for material goods, a toxic relationship, social media comparisons? Whatever it is, recognize that these distractions are pulling you away from your true self. The key to finding peace is learning to let go of what doesn't align with your values and your well-being. This doesn't mean you need to stop enjoying life's pleasures, but it means choosing intentionally, being mindful of what you allow into your life, and setting boundaries that protect your peace. Letting go of distractions also means identifying toxic relationships or environments that drain your energy. We all know people or situations that bring out the worst in us, or that leave us feeling emotionally drained. Whether it's a friend who constantly seeks validation or a work environment that fosters stress and competition, these are the things we need to distance ourselves from in order to maintain our peace. It's time to ask yourself, what can I eliminate from my life that is disturbing my peace? What distractions, what negative influences can you release in order to create space for peace and clarity? Sometimes this means stepping back from the things you've been chasing and reevaluating what really matters to you. By stopping the chase, you start to gain control over your life. You free yourself from the external pressures that lead to stress and dissatisfaction, and in that space you find clarity, focus, and most importantly, inner peace. When you stop chasing things that don't serve your well-being, you make room for what truly matters: your happiness, your health, and your sense of self. So today, make a choice. Identify the distractions that disturb your peace and take action to let them go. You don't need more in your life. You need less of the things that weigh you down. When you stop chasing what disturbs your peace, you'll find the calm and clarity you've been seeking all along. 3. Silence your inner critic. Have you ever found yourself paralyzed by your own thoughts? That inner voice that constantly criticizes, judges, and doubts everything you do. It's the voice that tells you you are not good enough, that your work isn't up to standard, that you'll never succeed. We all have it. And while it may feel like that voice is just trying to protect us, in reality, it's one of the biggest obstacles to our peace and personal growth. The inner critic is a silent saboteur. It often disguises itself as reality, telling us that our flaws and imperfections are all that define us. It makes us question our every move, second-guess our decisions, and sometimes it even paralyzes us with fear. But here's the thing: that inner voice isn't the truth. It's just a collection of doubts, fears, and insecurities, often blown out of proportion. It's a distorted perception that holds us back, keeping us from taking risks, making decisions, and ultimately finding the peace and growth we deserve. The Stoics understood the destructive power of the inner critic. They taught that while we can't always control our circumstances, we can control how we respond to them, and that includes the thoughts we entertain in our minds. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations encouraged us to focus on controlling our inner dialogue. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If we allow negative self-defeating thoughts to dominate, we can never achieve the clarity and peace we seek. But if we learn to silence the inner critic, we can create a peaceful and empowering mindset. The key to silencing your inner critic is awareness. The first step is simply recognizing when it shows up. Pay attention to those moments when you start to doubt yourself or feel overwhelmed by your own negative thoughts. Notice when you start thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do this." Those thoughts are the critic at work. The next step is to challenge them. When those thoughts arise, ask yourself, is this really true? Most of the time you'll find that the inner critic is exaggerating or distorting reality. For example, let's say you are about to give a presentation at work and the inner critic whispers you are not prepared enough. You are going to mess up. Instead of accepting this as the truth, pause and ask, why do I believe this? Have I done my preparation? Do I have the skills and knowledge to get through this? Most likely you'll realize that you've put in the effort and that the critic is just a fear-based reaction, not a reflection of your actual abilities. Another powerful way to quiet your inner critic is to practice self-compassion. The Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting our flaws and imperfections without judgment. Instead of berating yourself for not being perfect, treat yourself with kindness. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes and that you are doing the best you can. Self-compassion is not about excusing mistakes, but about recognizing that mistakes are part of growth and that we are worthy of kindness both from others and from ourselves. A simple practice you can adopt is to replace self-criticism with positive affirmations. When you catch yourself thinking something negative about your abilities, replace it with something positive. I am prepared for this. I am capable, or I am doing my best. And that's enough. Over time, this practice can help reframe your inner dialogue, shifting it from a negative judgmental tone to one of encouragement and self-belief. Silencing your inner critic doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice and patience, but it's worth it. Every time you choose to challenge that negative voice, you take a step closer to inner peace. You create space for growth, confidence, and self-compassion. And when you quiet the inner critic, you make room for the calm, empowering voice that encourages you to keep going, to believe in your potential, and to trust yourself. The next time the inner critic shows up, remember it's just a voice, not the truth. You have the power to choose how you respond. Challenge the criticism, replace it with encouragement, and watch as your peace grows stronger with each passing day. 4. Free yourself from the past. How often do you find yourself thinking about past mistakes, regrets, or things you wish you had done differently? We all carry emotional baggage from the past moments where we made mistakes, failed, or faced challenges that still haunt us. Sometimes these memories shape the way we see ourselves, our potential, and even our future. But here's the truth: your past does not define you. The mistakes you've made, the regrets you carry, and the experiences you've lived through don't have to control your present or dictate your future. The weight of the past can feel heavy. We often think that if we could go back in time and do things differently, everything would be better. But in reality, living in the past only keeps us stuck. It prevents us from moving forward, from fully embracing the present, and from creating the future. We become prisoners of our past, believing that we are defined by it, when in fact we are more than our mistakes or our regrets. The Stoics understood the destructive power of clinging to the past. Epictetus in his teachings emphasized that the only thing within our control is how we respond to life's events. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This idea is empowering because it means we don't have to let the past control our future. We have the power to choose how we react, to learn from our experiences, and to move forward with strength and purpose. To free yourself from the past, the first step is to accept that it is no longer in your control. What's done is done. The time you spent regretting past decisions or reliving painful memories is energy wasted. This doesn't mean you forget the past or ignore the lessons it taught you. It simply means you stop letting it dictate your actions, emotions, and mindset in the present. Releasing the past also means forgiving yourself. We often carry guilt and shame about things we wish we had done differently, but holding on to these emotions only weighs us down. Self-forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for letting go of the past. It means accepting that you did the best you could with the knowledge and circumstances you had at the time. It's about understanding that you are human, that mistakes are part of life, and that you are worthy of moving on. Another important part of freeing yourself from the past is letting go of the stories you've built around it. We often define ourselves by the mistakes we've made or the things we didn't achieve, but these stories keep us stuck in a loop of self-doubt and regret. Instead of continuing to tell yourself that you are your past, start telling a new story. Your past doesn't have to be the script for your future. You are the author of your life, and you can choose to write a new chapter at any time. One powerful exercise you can try is to write down the things from your past that still bother you, whether it's regrets, painful memories, or mistakes. Write them all down. Then once it's on paper, look at it from a different perspective. What lessons did you learn from these experiences? How have they shaped you into who you are today? And most importantly, what will you do with these lessons moving forward? Once you've reflected on the past and extracted the lessons, let it go. Tear up the paper, burn it, or do something symbolic to release those burdens. Freeing yourself from the past isn't about forgetting it. It's about choosing to no longer let it define you. It's about learning from your mistakes, accepting what happened, and moving forward with a sense of peace. It's about embracing the present moment and taking control of your future. The past is like a weight that drags you down, but when you let go of it, you free yourself to move forward. You create space for new opportunities, new experiences, and new ways of thinking. And in doing so, you reclaim your peace, your power, and your potential. So today, take a step toward freedom. Let go of what no longer serves you. Stop letting your past shape your future and start living in the present with clarity and purpose. 5. Make space for stillness and reflection. In our fast-paced, always-on world, it's easy to forget the importance of stillness. We rush from one task to the next, constantly checking our phones, replying to messages, and chasing after the next goal or achievement. Our days are filled with noise, both external and internal, and in all this chaos we forget to stop, breathe, and simply be present. But here's the truth. Inner peace is found in stillness, and without it, we'll never truly find the clarity we need to move forward. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means creating space for reflection, mindfulness, and connection with yourself. It's the art of slowing down and tuning into what's happening in your mind and body. The Stoics understood the importance of stillness. They knew that in order to respond thoughtfully to life's challenges, we first had to clear our minds and find clarity. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the value of quiet reflection as a way to stay grounded, focused, and wise. The problem is that in today's world, stillness is often seen as a luxury, something we can't afford to take time for. We feel guilty when we take a break, when we pause to reflect or recharge. We think that every moment should be filled with activity, productivity, and striving. But here's the reality. Without stillness, we lose touch with our own desires, values, and needs. We become reactive instead of proactive, responding to the world around us without clarity or intention. So how can you make space for stillness in your life? The first step is to recognize that it is necessary for your well-being. If you don't take time to reflect, you'll continue to operate on autopilot. Reacting to life is instead of taking charge of it. The second step is to intentionally carve out moments of stillness in your day. This doesn't have to be hours of meditation or long periods of silence. It can be as simple as a few minutes of quiet reflection in the morning or before bed. Create a space where you can be alone with your thoughts. This could be a quiet corner of your home, a peaceful walk in nature, or even a few moments of silence during a busy day. During this time, disconnect from the noise around you. Turn off your phone, close your computer, and focus on your breath, your thoughts, and the present moment. Stillness allows you to reconnect with yourself. It gives you the opportunity to check in with your feelings, your thoughts, and goals. When we are constantly busy, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We get caught up in other people's expectations, the distractions of social media, or the pressure to be productive. But in stillness, we find clarity. We can take a step back, evaluate where we are, and decide what truly matters. Reflection, which comes from stillness, is another powerful tool for personal growth. When you take time to reflect on your day, your actions, or your emotions, you gain insights that can guide you toward better decisions and actions in the future. The Stoics often wrote about the importance of reflection in their daily practice. Marcus Aurelius, for example, would spend time reflecting on his actions and thoughts, asking himself whether he had lived in alignment with his values. To incorporate reflection into your life. Take a few minutes at the end of each day to reflect on what went well, what didn't, and how you can improve. Ask yourself, did I stay true to my values today? What did I learn today? What can I do tomorrow to be better? These small moments of reflection help you stay aligned with your true self and your goals, while also promoting inner peace. Stillness and reflection don't just improve your mental clarity, they improve your emotional and physical health as well. In a world that glorifies constant movement and productivity, taking time to slow down is a revolutionary act of self-care. It allows you to recharge, refocus, and reconnect with what truly matters. So start making space for stillness today. Carve out time for quiet moments for reflection and for reconnecting with yourself. You'll find that in the silence, you'll hear the answers you've been searching for, and your mind and heart will finally have the peace they deserve. 6. Release the need for constant validation. Have you ever found yourself seeking approval from others? Maybe it's the desire to impress your boss, gain likes on social media, or meet the expectations of friends and family. It's natural to want to feel validated, to know that others see us and appreciate our efforts. But here's the harsh truth. Constantly seeking validation from others will never bring you the lasting peace you crave. In fact, it can be one of the biggest obstacles to achieving inner calm. The problem with seeking constant validation is that it makes your sense of worth dependent on external factors. When you tie your self-esteem to other people's opinions or external achievements, you give away your power. Your happiness becomes something you can't control because it relies on the approval of others, something that is often out of your hands. And as you chase this approval, you may find yourself feeling more empty and disconnected from your true self. The Stoics understood this very well. They taught that we should focus on what we can control, and that includes how we perceive ourselves. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The key to finding lasting peace and happiness is not in seeking the approval of others, but in cultivating a positive self-affirming mindset. It's about understanding that your worth doesn't come from external validation, but from within. Releasing the need for constant validation starts with recognizing that your self-worth is not contingent on what others think of you. It's about deciding that your value doesn't depend on likes, praise, or recognition. It's inherent, and it's there whether or not anyone acknowledges it. This can be a difficult mindset to adopt, especially in a world that often values appearance, success, and status, but the freedom that comes from self-acceptance is worth the effort. One powerful practice is to start by acknowledging your own accomplishments and strengths, regardless of whether others notice them. Take time to appreciate your efforts and reflect on what you've achieved on your own terms. You don't need external validation to recognize your value. This isn't about being arrogant or dismissing constructive feedback. It's about accepting and valuing yourself without the need for constant praise or approval. Another way to reduce the need for validation is to shift your focus from external outcomes to internal growth. Ask yourself, am I proud of the effort I put in today? Did I do my best? Regardless of the outcome, when you focus on your own actions and progress, rather than the opinions of others, you take control of your peace and happiness. You begin to measure your success by your own standards, not by what others think. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of living in alignment with your values regardless of what others think. If you are living authentically, doing what is right according to your principles, then you are already living a life worth celebrating. When your actions are guided by your inner compass, external validation becomes unnecessary, but it's not always easy to silence the craving for approval, especially in a world where social media constantly feeds us comparisons and validation. Here's a simple exercise. The next time you post something on social media or achieve something that you are proud of, notice how much you seek validation from others. Then ask yourself, why do I need others to acknowledge this? Can I feel proud of myself without needing approval? Practice this often, and you'll gradually learn to build your self-worth internally without relying on others to tell you that you are enough. The more you release the need for validation, the more freedom you'll feel. You'll no longer be at the mercy of others' opinions, and your peace will no longer be dependent on external sources. This shift in mindset allows you to live authentically and pursue your goals with a sense of clarity and purpose. The ultimate takeaway here is that your peace and happiness can only be found within. When you stop seeking validation from others, you take full control of your life. You embrace who you are and what you are doing. Knowing that your worth isn't defined by external approval, it's defined by your own sense of value, by your actions, and by your commitment to living authentically. 7. Cultivate acceptance. As your foundation, have you ever spent hours, maybe even days, fighting against something you can't change? It could be a situation, a person, or even an outcome you were hoping for that didn't go as planned. The truth is, life rarely goes according to our expectations. Things fall apart. People disappoint us, and circumstances often take unexpected turns. But here's the power of acceptance. It's not about giving up. It's about recognizing that there are things beyond your control and finding peace in that realization. We spend so much of our energy resisting life as it is wishing things were different. We get upset when plans fall apart, when we face rejection, or when things don't go the way we envisioned. But the more we resist, the more we suffer. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They believed that true peace comes from accepting life as it is, not as we wish it to be. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." This mindset doesn't mean resignation or passivity. It's about embracing life with openness, allowing it to unfold as it will, and trusting that every experience has something to teach us. Acceptance is the foundation of peace because it shifts our focus from what we can't control to what we can. Instead of fighting against reality, we choose to work with it. For example, when you are stuck in traffic, you could spend the entire time frustrated and angry, or you could choose to accept that the traffic is out of your control and find peace in the moment. Maybe you listen to a podcast, take deep breaths, or just enjoy the stillness for a while. It is the choice of how you respond that makes all the difference. When you practice acceptance, you stop wasting energy on things you cannot change. Instead of exhausting yourself with frustration, you channel your energy into what you can control, your reactions, your mindset, and your actions. This doesn't mean you stop striving for improvement or change. It means you stop letting the things outside your control dominate your emotions and take away your peace. Cultivating acceptance also means letting go of attachments to specific outcomes. We often become so fixated on how things should turn out that we forget to enjoy the process, whether it's in our careers, relationships, or personal goals. We set expectations for how we want things to unfold. But life doesn't always go according to plan. And when we become too attached to a specific result, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Acceptance is about releasing the need for things to unfold in a certain way and allowing the process to be what it is, trusting that it's part of the greater plan. One powerful exercise to practice acceptance is to reflect on situations that frustrate you and ask yourself, what am I resisting? What would happen if I allowed this situation to be exactly what it is? This doesn't mean that you stop taking action or making decisions. It means you let go of the need to control the outcome. By embracing what is, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and make room for peace to settle in. Acceptance also involves accepting yourself. We are our own harshest critics, and so often we resist the parts of ourselves we don't like. We push against our flaws, our imperfections, and our mistakes. But accepting yourself as you are, not as you think you should be, is the foundation of self-compassion and inner peace. When you stop resisting your own humanity, you begin to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, and you make space for growth and change. This kind of acceptance isn't passive, it's empowering. It's about realizing that the power to live a peaceful, fulfilling life lies within you. You have the ability to choose how you respond to life, how you manage your emotions, and how you find peace in every moment. So today, practice acceptance. Let go of the things you can't control, and instead focus on what you can change. Your mindset, your actions, and your inner peace. Life will continue to throw challenges your way. But by embracing acceptance as your foundation, you will be prepared to face them with grace and calm. 8. Embrace the present moment. How often do you find yourself either worrying about the future or dwelling on the past? Maybe you are planning your next steps, stressing about what's ahead, or regretting a decision you made in the past. It's so easy to get lost in the what-ifs and could-haves that we forget to appreciate the moment we are living in right now. But here's the truth. The present moment is all we really have. The past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only place where life is happening is in the here and now. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to think ahead. We are told to plan for the future, work toward tomorrow's goals, and worry about what's coming next. While planning for the future is important, it can also make us miss out on the beauty of the present. The Stoics knew this all too well. They believed that the only way to live fully was to embrace the present, to be aware of what is happening right now, and to find peace in the current moment. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations wrote, "The present moment is all we have." This simple yet profound reminder teaches us that the past is gone and the future hasn't arrived yet. So the only time we truly own is now. The challenge, of course, is that we are conditioned to live in a constant state of anticipation. Whether it's planning for a vacation, stressing about work deadlines, or obsessing over past mistakes, our minds are often anywhere but in the present. The result, we are constantly distracted, constantly rushing through life without fully experiencing it. This not only steals our peace, but also keeps us from truly appreciating the moments we have. Embracing the present moment is about mindfulness. It's about taking a step back from the busyness of life and allowing yourself to fully experience each moment just as it is. It's about pausing and recognizing the simple beauty of the world around you, whether it's a beautiful sunset, a quiet cup of coffee, or a moment of connection with someone you love. These moments are fleeting, but they are also precious. When we focus too much on the past or future, we miss these simple joys that make life meaningful. So how do we start embracing the present? The first step is awareness. You can't live in the present if you are not paying attention to it. Start by bringing your attention back to the moment. When you feel your mind wandering to past regrets or future worries, gently bring it back to the here and now. You might focus on your breath, notice the sounds around you, or simply take a moment to observe your surroundings. This simple act of mindfulness helps you recenter yourself and brings you back to the present moment. Another powerful practice is gratitude. When we're focused on what's missing or what's coming next, we often forget to appreciate what we already have. Taking a moment each day to reflect on what you are grateful for can help you stay grounded in the present. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, helping you see the richness of your current life rather than focusing on what's yet to come. The Stoics practiced a form of mindfulness through daily reflection. Every evening they would take time to reflect on their day, asking themselves questions like, did I live in line with my values today? What did I learn today, and what could I have done differently? This kind of reflection keeps you present and helps you learn from the day without getting caught up in past mistakes or future concerns. Embracing the present also means letting go of the constant need to do. In today's society, we are constantly hustling, checking off tasks and planning ahead. But sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing. Allow yourself moments of stillness where you do nothing but breathe and be. This doesn't mean being lazy. It means reconnecting with yourself and allowing your mind and body the rest they need to recharge. When you embrace the present moment, you open yourself up to peace. You stop fighting against what is and start appreciating what is. You realize that you don't need more to be happy. You need less distraction and more presence. By focusing on the now, you'll find that the peace you are seeking has been here all along, just waiting for you to notice it. So today, take a moment to fully embrace the present. Whether it's by practicing mindfulness, reflecting with gratitude, or simply taking a break from the chaos, make an effort to reconnect with the here and now. The future will come, and the past is behind you, but the present is yours to experience fully. 9. Cultivate gratitude in your daily life. How often do you stop and truly appreciate what you already have? In our fast-paced, achievement-driven world, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more success, more material possessions, more validation. We're constantly looking ahead, striving for the next thing, but in doing so, we overlook the abundance already present in our lives. Gratitude is the antidote to this constant craving. It's the practice of recognizing and appreciating what we have rather than focusing on what we lack. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for clearing your mind and finding inner peace. When you focus on what you are grateful for, it shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. You stop thinking about what's missing in your life and start appreciating the things you already have. It's a shift in perspective that not only calms the mind, but also opens your heart to greater happiness and fulfillment. The Stoics understood the importance of gratitude. They knew that while external circumstances were beyond our control, we could always choose to be thankful for what we had. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the power of focusing on the positive aspects of life. He reminded himself that every day was an opportunity to be grateful for the simple things, his health, his ability to serve others, and the lessons life offered. So how do we cultivate gratitude in our own lives? The first step is to make it a daily practice. Start each day by identifying one or two things you are thankful for. It doesn't have to be something big. It can be as simple as appreciating the warm cup of coffee in your hands, the sun shining through your window, or the support of a loved one. The key is to make this practice a habit so that gratitude becomes part of your daily routine. Another powerful way to practice gratitude is to keep a gratitude journal. Every evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for. It could be anything from a productive day at work to a kind gesture from a friend. Over time, this simple practice helps shift your focus away from what's not going well and brings your attention to the positive aspects of your life. When you consistently look for things to be grateful for, you start to see the world through a lens of abundance, not lack. The more you focus on gratitude, the more you'll realize that there is always something to be thankful for. Even on the toughest days when everything feels overwhelming, there are small moments of beauty and joy that can bring peace. Gratitude doesn't just change your perspective, it changes how you feel. It boosts your mood, reduces stress, and helps you approach life with a more positive, open mindset. The benefits of gratitude go beyond just mental well-being. Practicing gratitude has been shown to improve physical health, enhance relationships, and even increase overall life satisfaction. It helps you stay grounded even when life gets chaotic, and it creates a sense of contentment that no material possession or achievement can provide. But here's the important part. Gratitude is a choice. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that once we have more or achieve more, then we'll be happy. But true peace comes when we stop waiting for the next big thing and start appreciating what we already have. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. It helps us find peace in the present moment and reminds us that we don't need more to be happy. We just need to pay attention to the blessings we already have. So today, take a moment to practice gratitude. Write down a few things you're thankful for. Share your appreciation with someone you love, or simply sit in silence and reflect on the goodness already in your life. When you cultivate gratitude, you create space for inner peace, and you'll find that the more grateful you are, the more peace you'll have. 10. Simplify your life. How often do you feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of things you have to do? The clutter in your physical space, the endless commitments on your calendar, the never-ending to-do lists. It can feel like you are constantly running just to keep up. The truth is, the more complex and cluttered your life becomes, the harder it is to find peace. We live in a world that tells us more is better, but in reality, simplicity is the key to inner calm. Simplifying your life is not about doing less for the sake of it. It's about consciously removing the distractions and unnecessary complexities that drain your energy and take your focus away from what truly matters. It's about aligning your daily habits, your environment, and your choices with your deeper values and goals. The more you simplify, the more space you create for peace, clarity, and happiness. Think about it. How often do you find yourself saying yes to things that don't serve you just to please others or meet societal expectations? We say yes to work commitments we don't want to, social events we don't enjoy, and to tasks that don't align with our long-term goals. Every yes to something that doesn't matter is a no to something that does. By simplifying your life, you start saying yes to what truly matters and no to what doesn't. The Stoics understood the power of simplicity. They believed that true contentment comes not from accumulating things, but from learning to live with less. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that we should focus on what's essential and let go of what's not. He believed that the less we are attached to material possessions, the freer we are to pursue what truly brings us peace. To simplify your life, start by decluttering both your physical space and your mental space. Begin by looking around your home. Do you have things you don't use, don't need, or don't love? Start letting go of the material possessions that weigh you down. This doesn't mean you need to get rid of everything, but it means becoming more intentional about what you allow into your life. Keep only what adds value, what you truly need, and what brings you joy. Next, simplify your schedule. We often fill our days with tasks that don't contribute to our long-term goals or well-being. Take a step back and evaluate your commitments. What are you spending time on that isn't aligned with your values or goals? By eliminating the unnecessary tasks, you free up time for what really matters, whether it's working on a passion project, spending time with loved ones, or simply enjoying some quiet time. Simplifying your life also means learning to let go of the constant desire for more. The pressure to accumulate wealth, possessions, or status can cloud our minds and distract us from what truly brings happiness instead of constantly striving for the next thing. Ask yourself, what do I already have that brings me joy? True fulfillment comes from appreciating what you already have, not from constantly chasing the next big thing. The power of simplicity lies in its ability to bring clarity. When you remove the clutter physically and mentally, you create space for peace, focus, and growth. Simplicity allows you to direct your energy where it matters most without getting lost in distractions or unnecessary complexity. The key to simplifying your life is making conscious, intentional choices. It's about evaluating what's truly important to you and saying no to the things that don't align with your values. It's about creating space for peace, for clarity, and for the things that will help you live a more fulfilling life. So today, take a moment to reflect. What can I simplify in my life? What do I need to let go of in order to create more space for what truly matters? Whether it's decluttering your home, simplifying your schedule, or letting go of attachments to material things, simplifying your life will bring you closer to the inner calm you are seeking. 11. Let go of perfectionism. Have you ever found yourself stuck in the pursuit of perfection? Maybe you've spent hours, days, or even weeks trying to make something just right. Whether it's a project at work, a personal goal, or even a relationship, you keep tweaking, adjusting, and second-guessing yourself only to find that perfection is an ever-moving target. The reality is perfectionism doesn't lead to peace. It leads to frustration, stress, and burnout, and often it keeps us from moving forward at all. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. It makes us believe that unless we do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. This mindset traps us in a cycle of never feeling good enough, never feeling ready, and never feeling satisfied with what we've accomplished. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. It's a myth, a standard that's set so high that it's impossible to reach. And the longer you chase after perfection, the more you miss out on the satisfaction of completing something, the joy of growth, and the ability to embrace the beauty of imperfection. The Stoics understood the dangers of perfectionism. They taught that we should focus on progress, not perfection. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, said, "Perfection is not when there is no more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away." In other words, perfection is not about achieving some ideal, but about getting rid of the excess, the unnecessary, and the distractions that keep you from moving forward. It's about doing your best and accepting that your best is enough to let go of perfectionism. Start by reframing your mindset. Instead of thinking that everything needs to be perfect, shift your focus to progress. Ask yourself, what is the next step I can take to move forward? You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to get everything right. What matters is taking action, learning from your experiences, and improving over time. One effective way to break free from perfectionism is to set realistic expectations for yourself. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for progress. Set small achievable goals and celebrate each step you take toward them. The more you focus on the process rather than the end result, the less pressure you'll feel to be perfect. And as you start to embrace imperfection, you'll find that your anxiety about getting it right starts to diminish. Another strategy is to remind yourself that mistakes are part of the journey. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow. When you accept that failure is not the end, but a step on the way to success, you'll stop letting perfectionism control you. You'll realize that the fear of making mistakes is often worse than the mistakes themselves. The beauty of imperfection is that it allows for growth. When you stop chasing after an unattainable ideal, you give yourself the freedom to evolve, adapt, and improve you. Stop feeling trapped by unrealistic expectations and start seeing the value in each effort, no matter how messy or incomplete it may seem. Think about the things you've accomplished in your life. How many of them were perfect from the start? Chances are most of them required effort, mistakes, adjustments, and improvements along the way. Perfection is a moving target, but progress is something you can always measure. The more you embrace the imperfect process of growth, the more peace you'll find in the journey. So today, make the decision to let go of perfectionism. Start by giving yourself permission to take imperfect action, to learn from your mistakes, and to celebrate your progress. No matter how small, you don't need to be perfect to make a difference. You just need to show up. Do your best and embrace the beauty of imperfection. 12. Set healthy boundaries. How often do you find yourself saying yes to requests that drain your energy, disrupt your peace, or take time away from what truly matters to you? In a world where we are constantly connected and surrounded by demands, it's easy to forget that we have the power to say no. Healthy boundaries are not just a way to protect your time. They are essential for maintaining your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Boundaries are like the walls around your personal space. They define what's acceptable and what isn't, and they create the room. You need to preserve your energy without boundaries. You might find yourself saying yes to things out of obligation, guilt, or fear of disappointing others. Over time, this erodes your peace, leaving you feeling burnt out, resentful, and disconnected from your own needs. The Stoics understood the importance of boundaries, especially when it came to protecting their time and energy. They knew that in order to live a life of meaning and purpose, they had to be selective about how they spent their time. Seneca, Stoic philosopher, wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Setting boundaries is one of the most effective ways to prevent your time from being wasted on things that do not align with your values and goals. Setting healthy boundaries starts with recognizing your own needs. What is draining your energy? What activities, relationships, or commitments are taking more from you than they're giving? This might be a difficult realization, but once you acknowledge the areas of your life where you need to establish boundaries, you can begin to take action. The first step is learning to say no with confidence. Saying no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-care. By saying no to things that don't serve your well-being, you are saying yes to yourself, whether it's a work project that doesn't align with your priorities, a social commitment that leaves you exhausted, or an activity that steals your peace of mind. Learning to say no creates space for the things that truly matter. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is being clear and firm with others. Sometimes we are afraid to assert ourselves because we don't want to hurt others' feelings or seem rude. But in reality, when you don't set boundaries, you are not only hurting yourself, you are also doing a disservice to others. They may not realize that you are overwhelmed or stretched thin, and by not communicating your needs, you risk resentment building up over time. Effective boundaries also mean giving yourself permission to take time for yourself. Whether it's a quiet moment in the morning to gather your thoughts, a break in the middle of a busy day to recharge, or a weekend to focus on your passions, make sure you carve out time that is just for you. This is not a luxury, it's a necessity for maintaining your peace and energy. The key to healthy boundaries is consistency. It's not just about saying no once. It's about making it a habit, practicing it in every area of your life. The more you honor your boundaries, the easier it becomes to protect your time and energy. You'll start to feel more in control, more at peace, and more aligned with your true priorities. So today, take a moment to evaluate your current boundaries. Are there areas of your life where you need to say no more often? Are you protecting your energy or constantly giving it away to others? Start small. Set one boundary today and notice how it feels. The more you practice setting healthy boundaries, the more you'll realize how powerful they are in creating the peace and calm you've been seeking. You've just learned 12 powerful ways to master inner calm, each designed to help you regain control of your peace and create a life that feels balanced, fulfilling, and true to who you are. But the real work begins now, applying these principles to your life one step at a time. It's not enough to simply learn these strategies. You must embody them, make them a part of your daily routine, and consistently choose peace over chaos. As we've discussed, inner calm doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from within. It's the result of letting go of what doesn't serve you, learning to embrace the present moment, and practicing the art of self-compassion. It's about understanding that peace is not something you find in the future. It's something you create right now in each decision you make. True freedom comes when you release the weight of external expectations. Silence your inner critic and choose to live authentically without needing constant validation. It comes when you practice acceptance, when you simplify your life, and when you set healthy boundaries to protect your energy. When you cultivate gratitude and embrace the present, you start to experience the peace that comes with living a life aligned with your deepest values. Remember, these aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical tools you can apply today. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now. The peace you are seeking is within your reach, and it starts with small, intentional changes. As you move forward, take one step at a time, implement these practices in your life, and watch how they transform your mindset, your relationships, and your overall well-being. Inner peace is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. So embrace it, nurture it, and know that each choice you make is bringing you closer to the calm and clarity you deserve. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread the message of Stoicism and self-improvement, and we are committed to continuing this journey together. Share your 3-day challenge experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear how it transforms your life. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.